On Monday, I taught a class, senior high school students, so these are 16-year-olds. I taught them a class about describing positive and negative experiences and describing them via colloquial expressions.
Okay. Yeah, this is a bit of a difficult class to do this with. They only have an hour a week, and as you were saying in your reflection, it's an exam week for them as well, a very big exam. So it's very hard for them to focus on the material in the class. And they were late as well. But having said that, I think you did fine as well as you could with the circumstances that were there like this week. Yeah, I think you adapted the instructions as much as you could within the time frame. Really, unless you had to take out one of the things,
Yeah, there was like 10 or 12 minutes of less class time than I would have had normal.
So that's something you can't account for really. You had to, because that was kind of a biggish part of it, and you'd have to drop it out completely, I guess, if they're that late. As I think you always do, you did do a good job going around monitoring how the students are doing and helping out. I don't think there's a problem with that in any of the classes you have done. You did that quite well. Yeah, again, in the roles in the instructional process as well. I think as you're going around monitoring, you kind of do a bit of that as well. But with your own anecdote about the Euros and stuff.
Yeah, Euro Cup.
That was quite good. They liked that, did they?
I think nobody knew who Ronaldo was.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
Part of the world.
Hard to believe.
I certainly know who LeBron James is, but Ronaldo is completely unknown. But they didn't understand the significance, I guess, or who he is and why that was a special victory for the country. But they enjoyed the video of the celebration in the street.
Yeah.
Taiwan's or East Asia in general is a very tame country, tame part of the world, and that sort of expressive behavior was funny to them.
Yeah. I was also in Germany when they won it, except they all went to bed at 12 o'clock. So not sure why. It's not very German of them to go to bed at 12 o'clock either, but I don't know why they did that time. Yeah, so that went well as well. What else was all the other ones? The skill development, I think you're kind of hampered a bit by the shortened time in that as well. There are other things you could have done if it was a normal week and you had the full class. So again, I think you did as well as you could with that. Is there anything you would have done with the full time or more time even than the class?
The activity I had planned involved them designing a tourist itinerary, and I think that had potential to be interesting. And I think Taiwan doesn't do the best job marketing itself as a tourist destination.
I agree.
It's not ever going to be on the level of Thailand or the Philippines, but it's not to say that it couldn't be more popular. And so I had like this a slide showing them the numbers of tourists visiting Thailand, the Philippines, Japan, comparing it to Taiwan. So I guess that's like a interdisciplinary activity they could have enjoyed.
Sure, yeah, a bit of marketing and so on.
Yeah, and we could have voted on the best itinerary. Yeah.
It would have been interesting to see what they come up with, because I think when they talk about it, it always. Well, I've had my classes talk about it too, and they tend to come up with stuff that perhaps the Japanese would like or something, but I think wouldn't really appeal to Westerners, tourists. But I'm just curious what they would have come up with.
Yeah, that would have been useful also because I found the material was already familiar to the majority of them. Like they knew it. That happens with these kind of classes, right?
Yeah.
If they studied English in a cram school, this might be very, very familiar to them. So having something else more stimulating would have been nice if I had time.
Yeah. Well, I think you did the best you could with that, with the restrictions this week. The questions, I see the questions you had down are perhaps quite difficult for them, are they not? Do you think?
Yeah, so I think
nostalgia, especially, I think would.
Yeah, so I guess some questions are for the most advanced English learners, and others are geared towards more beginners. And even if it's like a very abstract question, I don't have to like frame it in that way.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Did you have time to do any of that, or pose the questions to them?
I asked them doing homework, or not homework, but the book work. The group finished early, and I talked to them a little bit about different things. And I asked the students, what makes something memorable to you? What makes something? What makes you remember something compared to other things?
What sort of responses did you get?
They talked about like kind of general responses, but I still think it's like it made them reflect. But they said like, oh, it has to be special or new. Can't be boring, which is true.
Yeah.
So at least they were like, it made them think a little bit.
There's probably something there you could do with the cultural differences, I think, because because they travel a lot with the family and stuff, a lot of the things they do are with their family. It's not necessarily the case, well, not in Europe anyway, I don't know about America, but it's often individual travel in the West, in Europe anyhow. It would have been maybe interesting to talk about that if you had time. How they see the experience.
Yeah, that's true. Like backpacking isn't really.
No, it's not a thing.
Not a popular thing here. Even when they go to a short trip to Okinawa, they always carry like 2 suitcases.
Yeah. Even camping. They have the whole kitchen.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that would have been interesting with more time to do something like that.
Yeah.
So, because I think, like I said, I think some of them would be horrified at the idea of backpacking on their own around Asia and elsewhere. Yeah, I think with the time you had and the restrictions from the exams this week, it went well enough. So, is there anything you would have done differently, or anything else you would have done differently?
I would have maybe been tougher on the quantity, like how much students wrote. There were some that were finished really quickly, and I think they could have written a bit more. And I asked them to, but if I had said that at the beginning, maybe I would have gotten a more fruitful response.
Sure, yeah.
I slipped my mind. Some of the students will find 4 sentences to be very easy.
Yeah.
And others would be struggling with that.
Sure. I'd go easy on them myself anyway during exam week. I don't make them do too much.
I give them credit. They tried pretty hard, like more than I'd expect them to. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Cool. Thank you.
Sure.